pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which is one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alderman King can lead us in invocation.
That's right. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity that we can meet back here tonight, Father, the business for the city of Hernando. Father, we just ask you to give us the wisdom that everything we do tonight will be pleasing to your Son. Father, we ask you to be with the Bryant family tonight, Lord, as they cope with the loss of a loved one. Father, just touch their hearts, Lord, and lead them through this tough time. Father, again, we thank you for all your blessings. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Item number 4, approve the agenda.
Motion to approve.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Item 5, approve the docket of claims.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Item 6, approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted. Item 7, motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve with one update, one change on the minutes, please. Item F needs to show that the pay increase is going to $20 an hour.
Do we have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted. Item number 8, proclaim December 1st as Sunny Bryant Day, a proclamation. I'll read the proclamation. City of Hernando, Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas Elana Sunny Bryant was born October 15th, 1941, and was a lifelong resident of Hernando, Mississippi. And whereas he graduated from Hernando High School and Northwest Junior College. And whereas he proudly served his country, the United States Air Force, during the Vietnam War. And whereas he retired from the DeSoto County Sheriff's Department, United States Post Office, and Bryant Tire and Service Center. And whereas Sonny Bryant served his community, City of Hernando, as an alderman for Ward 1 for 5 terms. And whereas he loved his community, family, friends, and he also loved to fish, cook, and dance. And now therefore be it resolved that I, N.C. Tom Ferguson Jr., Mayor, proclaim December 1st, 2020, Sunny Bryant Day in Hernando, Mississippi.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Item number 9, Joanna Herring for a COVID-19 update.
As of yesterday, November 30th, DeSoto County saw a total of 1,049 cases and 104 deaths since they started tracking everything in this past spring. The total for the state is 154,411 cases and 3,836 deaths. So we have a higher percentage today, but if you look that they are updating daily, but they don't do a weekly update until a 2-week window has passed, because we all know there's a 14-day possible incubation period of that. So the last weekly snapshot is from November 14th. I have to look. I believe I have mixed up numbers somewhere. But looking at their weekly snapshot, the week ending November 14th, I believe it was a total of 8,857 cases, 87 deaths. That's going to be for DeSoto County with a 17.7% positive at that point of who was being tested. Cases stayed below 100 cases per week up through 30 to 548 cases of new.
I noticed the hotspots over the county. Know that our county about half that information. So one release they publish it. So they have the information, do not want to share it. And I think it's doesn't happen. But I don't that.
Actually, which is with the state when we were first working through all of this, in one of the state meetings that we had, that was addressed. Tennessee State Department of Health was advised by their legal representatives that they were allowed to share that information, whereas the state of Mississippi's legal representation stated that that was a HIPAA violation. I'm just relaying the information that was shared to us from the state health department.
I would say the same thing with it, and I'm not a lawyer, but I know it's a lot. People deal with names, they don't deal with numbers.
I agree, but that was what was posed from the state, was their reasoning that the state attorney said that they could not.
I'm agreeing with you, but I just want the people in DeSoto County to know that we're being lied to on a false assumption. False pretense. I mean, that's ridiculous. But anyway, that's just, I understand what you're saying, but you can make the same roadblock.
Is there any place we can get the daily for DeSoto County? I used to get it every day, but now it's not available. Is there a website that puts it out?
The state health department,
They show the state and the United States, but not the county.
well, on MSDH's website, underneath their COVID information, you have to click on a few different links to get to the county information, and it will give you information based on the county for that day, what was posted. With when I said 1,049 cases as of November 30th, those were the cases that they were saying were reported that day. So that's definitely showing us like 2 weeks behind, because they don't finalize everything, but they do give daily updates on their county. I was going to say this was November 14th, so the next one should be. I have to calendar.
More questions from the board? Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Item number 10, request from DeSoto Family Theater for funding. There you go.
Here I am, ready to talk. Good evening. Thank you all for letting me come before you again. I came before you last year as a representative of DeSoto Family Theater, but also as a representative of theater. In a broader sense, what we try to do at DeSoto Family Theater is support every organization that does theater, live performances, and that process is helping to make better citizens and helping the growth and education of the youth to become better participants in the community. Because most people are going to learn how to do something on stage, collaborating with people of different ages, different experiences, different backgrounds, putting a show on, and we are getting ready to do Peter Pan. And it is on December 4th. We are in rehearsal. When I leave here, I will go to rehearsal, and I will be flying members of the cast on stage with other youthful actors and people in the backstage. This theater is the first show that we've done since the theater has allowed us, Lander Center has allowed us back into space. So this is the first show we've had a chance. We've been able to work through this summer and continue to do some small things. We help with Dickens on the Square. We help Silo Square celebrate. We have been trying to do things in the community to help promote tourism and the experience of doing an interrupt county. if we can have your support, we intend to do that more and more. With the blessings that we've been receiving from you guys in the past, $500, which last year was $1,000, you shared that with kudzu. I can tell you that if you could increase that to $2,000, $1,000 for us, $1,000 for kudzu, the reason that is, in this show and this experience, kudzu is not able to do anything anywhere. But in our process right now, we had run out of a technical problem. We didn't have enough mics for the actors on stage. We had 25 young people on stage, and they all need mics. And kudzu said, we'd be glad to help you without charging you any rent for that. Now, I know they pay rent for those mics and repair, so if we would have funds to help us, help them, continue to get back to doing live theater, it would be greatly appreciated. We will not be able to seat, the theater will hold 400 people, we will only be able to put 100 people in any show. We will be doing 18 shows, and we'll probably have a little bit more people than what you have here per show. We have sponsors lined up for every night, social distancing, not only on stage, but if you talk about a cast and a crew, every time the children come off stage, they're on stage, they're wearing a clear mask and a face shield, they're coming back, they're washing, they're developing good skills to keep everybody healthy. We have had no COVID experience with any member of the cast, and there's 38 of us that are going not only the production, costumes, directing, crew, to make this experience happen. Our ticket sales for those shows have been what we would expect. They have been reaching out close to 100 every night. So we will do this from the 4th until the 20th. And it has been a big help. The other thing that we've been able to do, I don't know how many of you know this, but one of the things that the theater does is we work with the justice networks in the municipal counties here, so people who can't pay their fines. So far for this show, we have had 20 people who owe service to the community because they can't pay their fines. Call me, I put them to work, they pay their fine, we report it back to the judge or to the court, and those people are then released from their duties, and they help us produce a show. We help redeem them back to the community, which is another fact. If we're not there, we can't do that, and that's a real help for people to have a positive interaction. And everyone has called me afterwards and said, bless you for helping us to help get through this, because it's a unique experience. And so we would love to have your support. We would appreciate it if we can do it. We want to do, again, more. I don't think Hernando High School is going to be open to do any shows, but we are trying to find places for people who want to use the arts as a way to go and do what they love to do. We would appreciate your help. So what can I answer for you all about what we do, why we do it? We've been doing it 20 years. This is our 20th year celebration. We are trying to do 6 shows. We have Cinderella coming up in February, which is, Legally Blonde Junior, which is kids only. Then we are going Cinderella in April. And after that, we will announce our anniversary, 20th anniversary year. And so we would love to have your support and your blessings and anything we can do to help the city continue to bring tourism and attract people to this community, as well as give actors a place to perform. We'd love to have that endorsement from your organization, from the city.
I'm sure you've been coming down in our meetings. You know, we're not doing increases this year because we don't know what our finance going to look like. So if anything, we're doing decrease, but we show nothing to do 100% increase on donations. You understand? I don't know about the rest of them. I'm not speaking for Bill. That's, you know, so we have to be consistent with what we are doing, being good stewards, and we cannot afford, I don't think, to do 100% increase in charitable donation. Even though it's a good cause, but I'm just being a good steward of funds. And I want you to understand my thought on that. Not nothing to do with what you do or don't do, is what is to be consistent with what we do with other funds that we've been giving out that relate to good projects.
I understand that. I invest the same way, try to support the city the same way, and what we did with Dickens on the Square. And my life is here is I'm a member of Hernando, and I love the community, and I understand exactly you're trying to be a good steward. And so my time and effort are the same way, trying to support.
I don't mind the action. I want to let you know.
Oh, I know. I never answer. I never answer. I always ask. And it's amazing what happens when this community that we have. So. And by the way, I don't know if you know Greg Cragen. Lover's Fragrance Garage. He has supported us for 15 years. Every year I go in and ask him for more. He continues to give us more money. He is up to $1,000 donation as a theater supporter. And he doesn't even.
He running the register, he making more money off it, more people, every time a DUI go up, he getting more food.
But we have a lot of community support, and it continues to go on, and I know you have to do what you have to do, and that's why we try to support everyone in the square, and I know that it's a tough battle, so I appreciate your, speaking up what's on your mind, and everything that helps us, we try to help the community back, so.
Dan, thank you for all you do and all the other best for us. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
The last year was about $1,000 split between the soda theater and Kudzu. Was that correct?
Yes, you were originally offered us $1,000, and I said, I think it would be worthwhile to split it between the two organizations, because like in this case, they have come to us. The batteries, the microphones that they brought us cost them $18,000, and they have unconditionally said you can use them for the show to help us have theater back in the community. And so we're making sure that they go back to them in good condition. And that's why when I stand here, I'm compensated by the organization, so down the theater, but I know that help from them. They don't have anybody who can afford to do what we're doing. And so I'm asking on their behalf as well. Anything you give to us will be shared with them in whatever way you would like to do. We can split it. If there's something here, I'm here about the community, the theater, and the organization, and what we would try to do is help. Again, the community comes together and supports us in so many ways, and I try to do that back for the others.
We do appreciate you.
Oh.
Is that it?
Unless somebody else has a question.
Any more questions?
We won't vote tonight.
Okay, I just want to make sure, I'm going to duck out because I got to go fly some people on stage.
We thank you very much.
All right, thank you for listening. Anybody want a toaster?
If you have them to spare, just leave them on the chair. Somebody will.
I'd be glad to. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
Have a blessed Christmas.
Thank you. Item 11. Discussion request from Julie Hopkins to hold a reverse Christmas parade.
Good evening. So, a lot of response on asking if there was something that we could do since the chamber needed to cancel their traditional Christmas parade, and lots of ideas were tossed around, and so I volunteered to present the idea of having a reverse Christmas parade, which would still be in the place where the traditional parade is held, but instead of the parade having spectators out on the sidewalks and everything, we would have them stay in their vehicles. The parade would be stationary, and it would be one-way traffic flow through the parade, so that people aren't out being exposed or anything. You stay with your own family or whoever in your own vehicle, and you move along the parade. Yeah, I know that some other cities have done similar ideas. We did look at doing it through one of our parks, like Oxford is doing. Of course, I'm motivated. I have small children, I'm a former teacher, and we're very involved with the community. So, as everyone knows, lots of things were canceled this year because of the virus, and I heard the report, and it's very real. I don't want to minimize that, but we were just looking to look outside the box and try to have something that would say, I'm sorry, Mom, everyone's speaking, comes down. Something safe for people to still enjoy during the Christmas season. And so that's just something that we've proposed as maybe a safe alternative for our Christmas parade this year.
Have you been in discussion with our police department to see how that would coordinate?
I have not spoke to our police department yet. I didn't want to jump out there without having the city's approval and do that. I've talked to lots of people that were wanting to participate. I have now up to about 30 floats that want to participate, and it's growing. Like I said, I didn't want to overcommit people to something without having an approval from the board to do that. I know that to close streets, we would have to have an approval. So I did reach out to the police department to do that. But our police department and our sheriff's department have always been so giving, and I don't know that they would have a huge issue with helping out. I mean, I can't speak on their behalf, but we have a wonderful police department.
So your thoughts, if I read this correctly, if I'm following you, you've got, according to your notes so far, approximately 25 people that have committed floats.
I'm now up to 30 people with organizations, different organizations. I've had the high school reach out to me to see if that was going to happen. They would like to put some of their winter court in the parade. Several businesses have reached out to me that I spoke to. I spoke to the crew of Hernando, and they're willing to do they do usually the old timey fire truck with Santa at the end. They're willing to do that. So I haven't overly promoted it, like I didn't, because I didn't want to jump out there and say, hey, we're doing this, can you be a part of it? And then say, absolutely not happening.
So your thoughts are is that participants, people that are committed to the floats, would line them up along Commerce.
Yes, sir.
And then
16
people
cars.
would stay in their cars and drive one way, whichever direction,
Yes, sir.
up or back out.
To the courthouse and then out.
Is there a safety issue with those wide floats and having enough room for vehicles?
Shouldn't be. You have almost 3 lanes. Yeah, you have about 3 lanes there for traffic flow, and if they stayed in one lane, it shouldn't be wider than a trailer.
And we can be assured that there won't be any foot traffic along the roads?
We would not allow, I mean, of course, I can't say nobody walk. I mean, I can't force people in their vehicles, but we would be highly encouraged that people stay in their vehicle and follow the path. We would not, we would not support people walking through there and doing that. I mean, I can't tell everybody they can't do that, but that would be highly discouraged. To be safe and to follow guidelines, we would highly encourage people to stay in their vehicles and follow the marked path.
Yeah, we have the same safety concerns in a normal parade.
Yes, sir.
We have people all lined up both sides of the
Yes,
street.
sir.
I didn't know if you'd given that any thought or not, because somebody's gonna be liable should something happen. I don't know if that would be the city or not, in a parade like this. Who's taking responsibility for the liability if there? Is that a city responsibility?
That'd be Kenny, I mean, the chamber had the same issues and they
Right.
chose,
They chose not to do that.
correct, I mean, there's a lot to it. Sorry, Kenny,
Sir?
I think Doc asked a question, or did you answer it?
I mean, you were talking,
I'm sorry.
I mean, there would be some issues that, it's already dangerous anyway, but, I don't know if they want to put up a bond, put up some insurance for that or not.
Don't we normally have event insurance, or didn't,
We don't,
they don't, the chamber's always had event insurance.
chambers
right?
don't,
Yeah,
we don't.
just, that was just curious.
Right, but they sponsored the parade.
I understand.
This, I don't know what this would be. you know.
I did speak to the crew about, what kind of, support they would be able to, and they said that they would be able to do some financial support, so I don't know how much a bond would cost, or if we could present that, or if people wanted to donate to that. I don't know if that's something that I need to look into.
I would say,
I don't know how you pull it off with this short period of time.
and the governor's coming out with I don't know what's gonna happen.
Right. Right. I don't know.
Well, the other thing is, I understand what you're trying to do, I don't think they is just a group of people that go get insurance, say like the chamber can get, or a develop, an organization
Right.
can pack already.
What short notice, we can look into the bond.
I said bond, really what I mean is insurance. Bonded means insurance. And, I mean, the point about the pedestrians, I mean, let's be honest, when we have the Christmas parade, there's a lot of walking. And there's gonna be a lot of walk up, regardless. From all parts, areas of the city. So, I don't know how you would control that.
I agree, Kenny, I don't think you can prevent it, she can't.
Well, I don't think they do it.
Can't control it either, I mean, it's just gonna happen.
Right.
I don't even think it'd be fair to ask them. I don't know how they do it.
Well, what she's proposing too, the rides and stuff are very stationary, so it's gonna be the individuals and vehicles that are,
What comes to my mind is people running in between. That's just my initial thought. It would be nice if we had something like Snowden Park or something big where you could
That's.
Right, and we
put the
talked,
float off the road.
right, we talked about that, and I did drive several of our parks. It's
Don't
just,
have-
it's just, we don't have, logistically, we can't get in and out of them, we don't have a in and out, we only
Don't
have
have
an
a
in.
circular.
Yes, sir.
I read somewhere where, I don't know if it's a city in DeSoto County or not, where they run around to all the citizens that have special decorations.
Yes, sir, that
And they
is,
made a plan, they laid it out on a map exactly, so you go from one to the other.
yes, sir, and I'm pretty sure that they are doing that on Facebook, where they're mapping out, the subdivisions that have lights.
Mr. Borders, your business people would really decorate their places. Well, people drive by all the homes and shopping centers.
Right,
I'm just afraid of what Kenny said. It's very dangerous.
Did we not make one-way traffic on the playground? And close the other lane, and that's the lane that the floats go in?
That's what she's proposing. One-way
We've
traffic.
got sidewalks all along the playground. You're only gonna put the floats on one side of the road. You got a one-way in and a one-way out. Just where it gets complicated, where you may have to go in front of Highway 51, just going all the way around the courthouse.
yeah, we propose that it ends in front of the courthouse and they loop out on Highway 51.
What day did you plan to have that on?
On the 14th.
I should put that together from now to the 14th. For the parades and all that kind of stuff. I mean,
Sure, I'm
with your
another
float.
four I can do, no, I'm just kidding, I think, I think so. The only thing that would probably be if we had to do some kind of insurance, that would probably hold us up.
Not gonna have it on there.
I think we discussed that.
Yes, sir.
We discussed the school grounds,
Yeah.
church grounds, Walmart, and brought that up.
There's just not, we don't have a place, we talked about the library, logistically, flowing one way in and out, there's not very many options in Hernando, other than where we traditionally have it. We don't have something like Oxford has. I did speak to, Mr. Kelly, who's running the one in South Haven, and they're running it through their library. But again, their library is on the cul-de-sac, and so they have a in and an out. They have an entrance and an exit that's more feasible.
What time of day are you thinking? This is a Monday, so
Usually we have it at 6:30 and I keep it probably, now usually I know that in the past that they've had hundreds of votes and everything and it's been very long. But I was only thinking about doing it from 6:30 to 8.
Distance wise, if you're talking, if you were to limit it to a number, you could control the length and that might open up a few other areas.
Right.
You know, because I guarantee you with 30 floats, if you're starting on Baden and you're coming all the way down Commerce, I think there's a lot more room than for just 30. So if you're gonna limit it then to 30 lengthwise, you know, this float to the, you know, the first float to the last float, you know, then there may be an opportunity to look at another area that would be a little bit off the beaten path. But again, you know,
And one other area that we considered was, Mackinville Extended. Because it is much water, and then you probably wouldn't have foot traffic. And do that in just that section of Mackinville Extended, because you have water shoulders, and, you have, what, almost 5 lanes there, in the majority of that. So that would be an option that we're not in.
no, I was thinking.
Yes, that would be a light problem. I mean, unless everybody had, you know, footloads, and we talked about that. I mean, again, you're looking at logistics and, you know, it is dark.
Also, another thing that got to be considered, as we were thinking, as we were listening also, another unique thing that's different with this than with the chamber, that this is gonna affect businesses that own Commerce Street, and they still gonna be open during that hour. And anytime we close the street or disrupt businesses, we require the person that holding that event to get approval from the business that's being affected. And what's different about this, the chamber, those businesses were part of the chamber, so they sanctioned the parade. This is different from the business, so you will be required, that we hold true to what we've been doing with other things that affect businesses, and you will be required to get approval from those businesses. Not think that, it's just me thinking that. So we be consistent that you will be required to contact any business that will be affected by that street closure. And we start talking, we go out from the laundromat, to the cheesecake, to the hardware store, to the Jenkins, anything along in that corridor, the taco right there, the chicken place and all those businesses there, is still open to 8 o'clock. And so when we close down the street,
Some of them are later, some of them.
I'm just using that analogy because she said she'll be through at 8. I'm just saying that they'll be still open at that time. So that's another hurdle that you would have to do, because that's something we wouldn't do. I think that, but we're consistent with doing that. And the only thing different than that, the chamber did that because those were part of their. Remember, that was correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm speaking the truth. There's a lot more hurdles than other things.
Correct.
The street will not be closed.
It would be one way only.
Yeah, it would be closed.
It would be closed.
It would be, it would be closed.
You're affecting people from getting to somebody's business. Whether you put it on the left side, the north side, or the south side, you're gonna be directly in front of those folks' business, so you're hindering the customer from getting to those businesses. No one for commerce, unless they go to the parade.
Yes, that was another thing, so how was you do that, because
Well, I mean, if they do go down Commerce, they'll be watching the parade.
You have to block through traffic.
I've had tickets or something.
But again,
Well, I mean, anybody could drive down there. I mean, we're not holding I mean, we wouldn't stop
No,
people.
I'm just saying, if you got the traffic goes going west,
Right,
that means can nobody go down Commerce Street going east?
right.
So would be
You just think,
disrupt the traffic. I mean, it's really.
Center Street, Maria.
yes,
But then you gotta deal with the businesses that own Commerce Street, Aldermen.
I've been trying to make it happen to where it should be, has a peaceful Christmas parade instead of no Christmas parade. And I appreciate the office, coming to this.
What are you gonna do about the businesses then? What would you do about the business that disrupt? That would be her requirement to get approval from them, correct?
Well, the disruption, they'll have Center Street where they can come in on.
Not to get to the businesses. The business is front, Commerce Street.
I understand that. Again, I was just trying to think outside the box. The code board.
Well, I understand that, but.
Back then, we didn't have a parade because we was in a COVID world.
Yeah.
Come on,
I appreciate what you've done too. I mean, I think I'm back in there, but the lighting's an issue there.
And I just thought about Monty, you know, I was trying to think of a way that there would be a fluid, you know.
Yeah.
All the way left.
The chamber
But again, you gotta love it.
has really worked hard on trying to do a reverse Christmas.
okay, yeah, and I don't want to, I'm not trying to do anything to the, I know that they work hard, and I'm not in any way trying to discount anything that they do, in no way, absolutely not.
I mean, we're just repeating
Right.
all the scenarios they came up with, except I did hear Macabell. I thought that's really good.
So there's two ways into the baseball field. There's two.
It is?
We did talk about that, the only problem with like going around the baseball field, that would be, I don't know how you would do, floats unless you put all the floats in the parking lot and then drove around. The thing is, you know, that street, there's that little, that cut through all the way back is very small, very narrow. So, I mean, I'm not totally against it, you know, I'm not against anything, I'm very open-minded to any suggestions. I just wonder, logistically, are we gonna be able to flow everybody through that narrow street?
I mean, it'd be one way.
Right, yeah, right.
I mean,
How
right?
about Parkway? Parkway's almost 5 lanes, 4 lanes. From Highway 51 to Mount Pleasant. We don't require the 5K people to go to the tower and get a signed position.
Like the problem you would have in a residential neighborhood would be an emergency type situation where we needed ambulance or fire and we had that street closed. I'm afraid we wouldn't be able to respond.
We do it during 5K,
You know what?
but we close it during 5K.
Yeah, but we don't have floats lined up and down the street blocking,
Driveway.
driveways and streets.
I mean, I agree with you, Mike. I mean, we've been beating and thinking and all that. The best I can come up with, the best I like is the Civic Center. I mean, that's the best I think we have to offer.
Right.
Commerce Street, using Commerce.
Civic Center.
He said, send
The Civic
the
Center.
baseball field.
Baseball.
I got you.
I mean, we're just limited to what we have compared to other cities.
Exactly, I understand that. And,
Parkway keeps it out. Just wide enough,
Which side of the road would you park the floats on?
whichever side's on side. But, again, you don't have to park in front of someone's driveway, you can go every other house in front of that home.
You're absolutely correct.
I'm open. I'm
If you want to
open.
go to Mount Pleasant or vice versa.
When you from a float to a truck, you gonna block the driveway.
Yeah, I mean, which way would
I
one
gotta
go?
be positive, not negative, you know?
I'm just, negative and positive, not the same fact. There's nothing to do with negative and positive, it's the same fact. We just, agree to disagree, that's okay?
I haven't heard anything about what we're gonna do with liability, but
Are you receptive with Parkway? Do you feel like it's safe?
I mean, we would, I guess we're open to whatever. I'm not gonna say, no, we're not doing that. I guess, I don't know. I didn't even think about Parkway, to be quite honest. I don't want to hinder anybody from their home. I understand that, and I don't want to, cause any, I'd rather cause more cheer than unhappiness. I don't want to make a bunch of people mad. That's not my goal.
I guarantee you, if you like,
we get more
you better
complaints from
think
Parkway
about
than anywhere
commerce.
else.
You
All right,
better-
let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you go back, check on your bond, and see if you can make the civic center work?
Okay, so do I need insurance for a civic center? Is that something that people rent out? What's
I
the,
think you're gonna be bonded anyway, because you're.
Somebody gets hurt,
a
somebody
civic organization.
gets sued, who's gonna get sued and who's gonna pay?
I'm-
Ever who's in charge?
And then we'll get the chief person, did you step the
No, just irrelevant, black Toyota Prius is blocking our fire bay, we're gonna need to move that. If someone drives a black Prius, we can't get the fire truck out. That'd be different. I don't want to, but that's it, thank you, sorry.
Way's got one?
Breaking for the paper.
Why don't you explore those ideas?
Okay, and so you're saying regardless, we have to be insured? Is that what you're saying?
That is absolutely.
Okay.
You might check with Cook Insurance, I think that's where the chamber had, at one time, we had insurance, they did insurance with them. They don't do it anymore. The city might help you.
Yeah, we have it with Nationwide.
Nationwide.
Jody with Nationwide.
To help Julie, I still think we need to identify the route, because if it's commerce, she's gotta get in touch with businesses. If it's Parkway, she's gotta get in touch with all the residences along Parkway. She's only got 2 weeks.
We won't meet
So,
again
I
before,
do
so we won't, we will
We
meet
got
again.
one more quick one we could put on, but I mean, you get with me, we could get with them, I mean, just my opinion, I'm just one, and I don't get to vote. I prefer the civic center. Chief, what's your ideas on the versus the civic center commerce? Would the civic center be manageable to the police department?
Mayor, whatever y'all decide, we'll make it happen. We'll be happy to accommodate either way. Obviously, the civic center is.
In the county.
Oh, that's right, we can't provide service because it's in the county. So, thank you, Chief. But we're more than happy to help do whatever to make it happen, however y'all want to do it, whatever you decide.
It's in the counties.
Okay. But, are you thinking that that's
We can.
a better option? Is that what I need to lean toward, I guess?
We're just trying our best not to tell you no.
Right, I appreciate that.
Check with your insurance first, see what they say, see if that's even doable. Then if they say, yeah, you figure it out, well, they'll figure out a way to make the insurance happen. Then drive some streets and come up with what you feel like you can work with, and then come back and present.
Okay.
It's my best suggestion. I don't know if anybody else has a better option than me. You've got
Do I have time to present it?
You can come up with addresses of people that's got nice decorations, and we can probably add them to the GIS map of DeSoto County and give somebody routes to drive also. So I think if you can get the addresses, we can add a little footnote to it.
Okay.
And they can draw a map any way they want to the route. I just, give me a contact, call just as quick as possible, okay?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All righty, item number 12, Authorized to hire Brennan Robinson as sports director at a starting salary of $34,000.
That motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted. 13, authorized to hire Timothy Hughes Tax, brush truck driver, open position, $16.50 an hour.
Motion to approve.
Second? Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted. Item number 14, 1478, appeal of the planning commission's approval of 1-year limit for conditional use.
Mr. Businessman with IPD is requesting to appeal the timeframe for conditional use approval of a mini storage facility in the C4 planned commercial zoning district. This property is on the west side of Highway 61, south of West Oak Road and north of Pattinson Road. On November 17th, the planning commission approved the conditional use to operate a mini storage facility for a time period of 1 year, after which the applicant shall return for an extension. The applicant wishes to appeal the planning commission's 1-year time frame, stating that a 1-year approval period is not long enough to construct the project site and to establish the business. In a similar application by the owner, Mr. Jim Burrow, the planning commission approved a conditional use for the operation of a mini storage facility at 2795 McIntyre Road on April the 12th, 2016. The staff recommended a 20-year approval for the planning commission, and the staff recommended a 20-year approval, and the planning commission granted 30 years of approval. A copy of the November 17th staff report is in your packet, as well as a copy of the April the 12th, 2016 planning commission minutes. And the staff recommended approval of a longer time frame. And I believe Mr. Smith is here to represent the application if you guys have any questions.
I think we ended up with just 1 year.
When Keith did the staff report, he wasn't aware of the previous application from 2016. So the standard on conditional uses is to approve the initial conditional use for a year, and then if there are no issues with that conditional use, when they come back for the extension, then they give a longer time period. So Keith wasn't aware of the previous 30-year approval, so when he did the staff report, he just put it for a year as recommendation.
Well, there was a lot of investment in money and stuff that for to have a 1-year approval. I mean, you'll give me 1 year on approval, I just canned the project. So that's, you don't get a chance to recoup or do nothing for a year. I mean, it's just.
Which is why the previous one, the planning commission granted the 30 years because of the investment in time and money on the site.
And this property is on the corner, I mean, in front of Renaissance Park, isn't it? Yeah, and that was in 1 year too.
What do we do? What do we do?
So,
I remember, do you remember the conditional use of Commerce by the store that got knocked down right past it, the auto?
David Adams' old place.
David, yes.
But
What have we done there?
that's not a good example. I mean.
Yeah, but originally, we gave it originally, and he had to come back, but originally was it like 10 years?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but I'm saying that was a bad example, because it meant so much. You better put first, the first was operating illegally, then it come back and try to get legal. I mean, that's just a bad example to me.
Sure is.
I mean,
Okay.
but what I'm saying, if that can get 10 years, that's my point, that's going to still a bad example, you know. If that could get 10 years, this man can get 20 to 30 years, I mean, because that one was totally. We had nothing like that before.
Well, and I think, and somebody might can correct me if I'm wrong, the reason that they were giving it a conditional use originally too was because, I guess, seeing kind of where that developed, you know, how that was all gonna develop out, we weren't sure. Also, you know, we were looking at, our future usage plan, and how did that particular business fit into all of that?
Well, are you talking about this specific one? It's a C4 district, so when that rezoning was done, they presented a list of.
It's in there, it's all within the plan, it doesn't require conditional use, but it's all within the plan.
I just,
It's authorized to be used in that particular zone.
But to make a big investment, it sounds like to me, it should be 30 years when we say.
A minimum of 20, something.
I think the other one was 20, and then it could go with another.
Yeah, I think.
What's 30?
We have to listen to it.
It was originally 20, and we asked for 50, and immediately it went to 30.
And of course, I'm reading his notes, and I can see him to speak for himself. But reading his note, some way that he didn't hear what was going on. And, so he asked him for a minimum of 20, but he would prefer 30. I bet, it ain't sound, but it's on his name, ain't that correct?
Yes.
Ain't that right, Mr. Smith?
I think I heard what you said.
Okay, I said.
I'm sorry.
He said, I did not hear the motion to approve at a 1-year life. As you know, a bank will not loan money for this project with that lifespan. We need a minimum of 20, but I would prefer 30.
Correct.
And so.
I didn't hear the motion that night. I would have stood up and said.
Right, I'm just saying, I'm trying to.
We can't live in 1 year. He's gonna borrow $1 to $2 million in a bank. I'm sure Kathy will understand, the bank is not gonna loan you that kind of money. And 1 year from now, the city could say, we're not gonna allow you to have it anymore. And by the way, everybody was very pleased with the project presented that night, so. It's just, we're only here tonight is to ask for 1 year, and not 1 year, but a 30-year. If possible, so we can borrow the money. Till it's
Your word is a minimum of 20, but you prefer 30.
I prefer 30.
So your word.
When you said everybody was pleased with the project, that's just the planning commission?
There was a vote of 4 to 0 to approve it. We had one couple there that came, I think she was the track coach, what do you call it, cross country track coach, and she had some questions about it, but after I read the list of permitted uses that could go on that lot, which is aluminum can, used car lots, trailer sales. Back in 2011, when the city approved that zoning, these are things that can go on that lot. So when she understood that we were gonna put, mini stores like what Mr. Burr has built over here on, Mackinville, and she said, look, really, I understand, I'm for it. We had a good conversation with her. Really, there was no opposition, and it was 4 to 0 was the vote. I'll be glad, I've got renderings, if you don't see renderings of what it's gonna look like, I'll be glad that I have them
We
out.
saw them last time, didn't we, Ben?
Sir?
Didn't you have them with you last
No, I
time?
did not.
You did not?
Yeah, because originally it was gonna be for like boats and RVs.
Yeah, what it do is, that's another thing, what is approved today that he could build there is something, RV storage both inside and outside. So there was gonna be RVs parked in the middle of the site, out on the pavement. We've eliminated that, everything that's inside now. So it's a better plan,
Yeah, I haven't seen them.
and I'll be glad for me to get those.
Yeah, he's got
I'm sorry. These are the renderings of the site that you can see. This is the Renaissance Park Drive. This would be the entrance. This is a condition, except for a few outside. This is one building that's gonna be conditioned minister. All the RV units will be under a shed. You can see those. Everything is under roof. There will be no outside parking. This is more from a different view. This is, you're right on Renaissance Drive, and you're looking, due north on the side. So it's, and it's, it'd be similar to the outside of what he has on Lackey.
That helps. I'm glad you brought that.
Any more questions?
Thank you, sir. Any more questions? Any questions from the audience? Motion.
I'll make a motion, we move to overturn the planning commission decision of granting approval of a conditional use to operate a mini storage facility for a period of 1 year and grant approval for a period of 20 years.
Do we have a second? Roll call.
Alderman Harris.
Aye.
Alderman Miller. Alderman Higdon.
Aye.
Alderman McLendon. Alderman Brooks. Aye. Alderman Hall.
Motion granted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 15, 1441 subdivision development agreement, Montclair Phase 5, located west end of Scott Road.
This is the request for the approval of the subdivision development agreement for Montclair Phase 5. It's a 66 lot, single family residential subdivision. The agreement that's before you, it covers all of the standard developers' responsibilities and obligations, as well as the bond amounts that were set by the city engineer. I believe the bond amount was set at $265,000, which is noted in the agreement, and staff recommends staff reports, or with staff comments.
Blake's not here, is it?
I'm glad this is substitute.
All right.
I have any questions you might have, Greg Smith, 2595 Central Road, South Hills. Drop in there.
This common open space.
Yes.
Will that be useful to the citizens?
Yes, sir. And the homeowner, yes, sir.
How is it gonna benefit the citizens? I mean, what is it?
It's just a green space, typical green space you have in any
So
subdivision.
it all be mobile, no trees?
Well, a lot of it is trees, a lot of it's in that area where that ditch is.
Hey, what area now? What was that? A ditch?
Stream.
Ditch.
And it also includes all the green area, like the mailboxes, all that, triangular shaped orange. That is development at home. It's right there before you turn into the big phase. It's actually part of this phase.
What benefit is the ditch to the citizens as common open space?
Well, it gets water out of there. That's the only thing I can tell you.
Where I'm going with this is, we have got many ditches that was common open space.
Yes.
The HOAs will not pay the taxes on it. They go back to the taxpayers of the state of Mississippi. And we're giving you credit, we're giving developers, not just you, credit for common open spaces.
Yes.
When you can give, in lieu for parks.
Right.
What do you think, Mr. Joe Frank? What benefit? I mean, we got that over here on, by the golf course. Got that over here on Vaden. Over by Dock, that subdivision. All that belongs to the state of Mississippi because the HOAs won't pay the taxes. How, and And then we had one common open space, a tree fell, busted our sewer line. Belongs to the state of Mississippi, not us. Now we have to, it costs us a lot of money to get back there to fix it. My goal is where does the subdivision benefit from the ditch?
Can't answer that for you.
I mean, it's recreation and parks area.
It's just part of the green space, requiring green space in the budget approved. And that's the most logical place to put them in the majority of the time, because you really don't want property lines butting up down there in the bottom of the ditch.
Now, why is that? Why would you want property lines running through the ditch?
Maybe not qualified to answer that question.
You're an engineer.
That's a.
Well, that way both
I
property
can tell you
owners,
all about the water going through, the sewer going through.
that way
That's a
both,
legal question.
both property owners would own part of the ditch and they would be able to drain their water into the ditch.
Right.
I've just seen so many problems with this.
I understand.
Is there anything we can do, Kenny, to make, to where this taxes will be paid on this property?
I mean,
We got that in Magnolia Commons. That's another one I just thought of.
the only thing that I would say, and I think Montclair, the first couple phases have already done it. I'm pretty sure they have. I know I've made this comment probably within the last year, but what I'm seeing now is more and more homeowner associations are turning their management over to a company. And they're, not only are they managing the collection of the dues, but also managing the requirements of the HOA, which would be payment of taxes. What you've had in the past is a conglomeration of HOAs, and you get a real excited board, and then everybody gets mad, and then nobody wants to be a board member, and they all leave. But what I'm seeing now, I know Montclair has done, I think the first two phases they've turned over to Keith S. Collins Company in Memphis, and I might be
Edgewater
wrong.
has turned over theirs.
That's correct.
But,
I know phase one.
okay, they just haven't done all of them yet, but they're waiting until they build out. But I know a lot of the subdivisions are doing that, so that might alleviate some of the issues. But, you know, is there something we can do to make them pay tax? No. You know, I mean,
I mean, have you seen Magnolia Commons? Is that it down there by the jail, Joe Frank? That's it, right? Have you seen it from the south looking to the north?
me, I have.
Who's gonna take care of that property? It is so
I don't know.
steep, and it belongs to the state of Mississippi.
Yeah,
We're gonna be stuck with it, the city.
well, I don't know that we will be, I mean, they're not gonna give it to us unless we ask for it.
Oh, they'll give it to us. I mean, one lady bought it at a tax sale, now she's just begging for the 3 years to hurry up so.
So she can lose it again. That's not uncommon. I mean, we've had that conversation before about Magnolia Commons.
But we can do a fee in lieu
We
of
could,
common open space.
we could.
You think we'd be to get a ditch.
That's all better.
Any utilities crossing?
Yes, sir. There's a sewer line crossing, on the south end.
Is it
And there's
encased?
two culverts. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that was actually done prior to this phase. We had built through the stuff out in anticipation of this phase some years ago. I don't know exactly how long ago.
How was that subdivision, Mike, we were at Thanksgiving Eve?
How old is it?
Yeah.
At least 15 years.
Excuse me?
I think it's about 15 years.
15 years old, sewer line across the pipe, not encased, or ditch, across the ditch, not encased.
That's bad news.
So, we have to repair it. The city of Hernando, infrastructure failure.
Right. Yeah,
That's been good.
That's why I was asking about being engaged. So that's gonna be a pretty pricey project, right, Mike?
Yep.
So I'm glad it's encased. I guess I'm done. Anybody else got any questions? Any questions from the audience?
So are you just proposing like a green space in that area?
Would you step up to the podium and state your name, please, ma'am?
It's Deidre Bergeron and I live in phase one of Montclair. So is that just a green space that you're proposing for that area that you're talking about?
There's more than that, just that one area.
Yes, ma'am, it's a ton of open space, all green space, as well, for the entire development phase.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's a ditch.
Got a lot of good trees going on.
I'm sure there's sweet gums and they're about to fall over. I'd love to get something to Corps of Engineers, we stabilize these things and they're done. Developers won't like it. It's gonna cost me good money. I'm gripe about it takes years to get the DEQ from Corps of Engineers. No, I know a guy can get it done in 60 days, probably 30.
Send him to Deer Creek.
It's too late up there now. But yeah, they can get it done. All right, any more questions? No questions from the audience? Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the subdivision development agreement on Montclair subdivision phase 5 between the city and Bush Davis owner, Montclair LLC, and authorizing staff to execute the agreement.
We have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Alderman Harris.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Higdon.
Aye.
Alderman McClendon. Alderman Brooks. Alderman House.
Motion granted.
Thank you.
Item 16, authorized to accept the best interest rate quote Trustmark Bank for $300,000 equipment loan for public works at a rate of 1.57. We have a motion? Motion approved. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted. Item 17, accept the lowest and best quote from Riley Paving Company for the Renaissance Walking Trail Phase 2. We have a motion?
Motion approved.
All in favor?
I have a question.
Okay. All right.
What are they looking at doing?
It'll be in the spring because the temperature's got to be 40 degrees and rising, and I'm not so sure we're gonna get that big of a winter.
Because we got paving that needs to be done on Valley Street where the railroad track.
Give us an update on it, Mr. Joe. He was supposed to 2 weeks. He told me 2 weeks. What happened?
We talk each week with the railroad people, and it's just up to them when they show up to do the work for us. They've got to take out the crossing, check the ties under the crossing so that we can pave it. And we can't do it. We can't do it ourselves.
Does Mike need to call the railroad?
I call them.
No, I mean, I can give you the guy's name. He's in charge of the railroad.
Did Riley Paving do some work around one of the crossings?
We did Robinson, and he's lined up to do this one.
Okay.
Yeah. And he says he'll come whenever the railroad will show up to do that.
Can we still get the asphalt when it's below 40?
If the asphalt plant will make asphalt.
They'll make it on President's Island, right?
Yeah, they may not make it down here at Hernando plant, but there will be a plant open somewhere.
That'd be additional cost to us for that.
Yes, we have to pay tax on, material hauled out of Tennessee. Additional tax, 6%.
Doesn't matter, kick ain't what? 6%.
All right, let's get back to accept the lowest and best quote from Riley Paving Company for Renaissance Walking Trail Phase 2. You got a motion, got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Did you vote, Mike? Thank you, sir. Motion granted. 18, authorized to advertise a public hearing on January 5th, 2021 for a cap loan for AWG project, re-advertised at a higher amount. With all the bids that the state's been getting, and all that, we were fortunate enough to get the cap loan increased. We can't use it unless we just got to have it, but we got increased. Trying to get the increase after we start the project could be extremely difficult if you even could get it. We want that safety net in there.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion granted. Approve utility adjustment document.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Sure.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted. All right, Peel Water Leak Adjustment Denial, Spencer Ryan. How you doing, sir? Yes.
This one I made you put on.
Yes, sir. You want to move on to- No, man.
Well, where we was, doing on Monday for a month. No, nothing.
How you got out here?
That's what I got.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not very long, three, October was 3, so we went to 20 and 3, just really both on.
Creek. These were.
Hey, we know everything, I'm ready to go. I make a motion to, adjust the utility bill for this, should I have the right one? On Phillips, around, an amount of, $143.42, and that customer did not receive the benefit of receiving water service. I also request that the water leak verification form and attached document be made part of the new.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted.
Thank you.
Mr. Gordon?
Very much same, I mean, 15, 5, and all that, everything,
Have a motion to adjust the utility bill for Gordon in the amount of $133.80. Find that the company had a legal, did not receive the benefit of receiving water service. Also request that the form and attached document be made part of the new.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted. Motion go into closed session. Second? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion granted. Going into closed session.